Good morning and welcome back to Home and Family. We're so happy that you're spending the morning with us. We love it.
We certainly are. Yeah, we do love it. And hopefully everyone around the country is getting a little break from that freezing polar vortex that was happening last week. It was so cold.
You know, it's just starting to get a little bit warmer, at least in some parts of the country. And maybe this is why. Saturday was Groundhog's Day, of course, and Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow. So you know what that means? It means that spring's just around the corner, Deb.
I'm a big fan of.
Do you believe it?
I believe it. I think he knows more than the weather reporter sometimes. He knows what he's talking about. He's from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And that's where it all goes down.
I see.
If he says spring's coming, spring is coming.
I'm with you. I'm not going against it. Debbie looks pretty serious, everybody.
I'm serious. You know, we have some exciting news to share as well. It's about podcasts. Now, Punxsutawney Phil does not have a podcast that I know about quite yet. But if you haven't jumped on the podcast bandwagon, you really should. And you're in luck because Hallmark has 2 new podcasts available on HallmarkChannel.com. First, we are celebrating Valentine's Day with When Calls the Heart stars Aaron Krakow and Niall Mater, and special guest Lacey Chabert stops by, and Rachel Lee Cook, and Sam Page as well.
All sorts of great guests for sure. And then join hosts Rodney Peete and James Denton as they chat with Larissa and me about Hallmark Channel's campaign to find loving homes for shelter animals across the country. I know in the photo you don't see James. He kind of joined us via phone from Minneapolis, but we had a really great time. And Larissa really was one. You know, one of the great things about Hallmark Channel, we have so many great aspects about this, but that Adoption Ever After, that whole initiative across so many different platforms has been so 100%. Effective, and nobody knows that more than Larissa, right, Larissa?
Right, oh, it was so fun to do that. And the funny thing was, I didn't know Cameron and I were both doing the podcast.
Yeah,
so I ran out of here to get there in time. I'm sweating. I sit down and they go, oh, well, we're still waiting on Cameron.
Larissa!
We were just with him.
You're outing me here.
Oh, that is funny.
It was really fun, though. We had a blast. And, of course, I could go on and on and on and talk about Adoption Ever After.
And you did. You did a great job.
Speaking of Adoption Ever After, who do we have looking for their forever home today, Loretta?
We are going to skip to Winter Garden, Florida, and meet an amazing little guy named Skip who is joining us with Heidi. Look at Skip. He's a terrier, and he looks adorable. So, Heidi, tell us all about him.
So Skip is about 6 years old. He's a Jack Russell Terrier, so, you know, he's got a lot of energy. He definitely needs a home that'll be active and keep him active both physically and mentally. He loves to play. This dog loves toys. He'll entertain himself. We have a couple toys. He's been anxiously waiting for this little toy to come out. So he loves his toys. He loves the water hose, but he will just entertain himself in the house. He's just a wonderful, fun, and just comical little dog. Just some of his actions he's just so entertaining. He's a lot of fun. Loves the game of tug of war, too.
I love it. He definitely loves tug of war. And I always say one of the things that my dogs and dogs in general bring us the most, it's laughing and giggling and smiling. Because they do the funniest things.
They absolutely do. And he knows commands, he knows sit, and he knows how to shake, and he loves to tear up his toys.
Well, so he just needs a house with lots of toys and maybe some fun people who will play tug of war with him or another dog. Thank you so much, Heidi. I know you're in Winter Garden, Florida. It's Polka Dogs Pet Rescue. So hopefully someone watching will go scoop up Skip and give him the best home ever. And there are so many dogs like Skip and kittens and cats and everything that need homes in rescues and shelters in every city. So please go find one, melt your heart, and give 1 or 2 an Adoption Ever After. It's the perfect Valentine's date if you're still looking for one.
It certainly is. Thank you so much, Larissa. Now, as we continue our countdown to Valentine's Day, Orly is here with a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your treasured cards and love letters that we receive. This is so cute.
I know. This is really, really sweet. I love the idea of that, like, the gift is a love letter, and inside that love letter is another love letter. I just think it's so sweet. It's
so
something
clever.
Yeah, I think it's something that we can do for our children, we can do for our husbands, for our friends. And I was super inspired, actually, by the Hallmark movie The Story of Us, starring our good friends Maggie Lawson and Sam Page. There they are. And in this movie, Maggie actually finds a box of love letters. And so I was just thinking, like, what do you do with that? Where do you put them?
You know, Maggie's going to be here a little later this week, so we absolutely have to save one of these and show her. She's going to tell us all about The Story of Us, which is, by the way, premiering Saturday, February 9th, right here on Hallmark Channel. So let's get started. What do we need to make these?
All right, so you need a photo. Obviously, you want a photo that's decent quality because we are going to be making it fairly large.
Okay.
And we're going to cut them into heart shapes. So you can see here, Debbie, for yours and for mine, I have one large main family photo of each of us. So you just want to make sure that it's good quality. And now we're going to make our heart pattern. This is going to function as our pattern for all of the pieces. Okay. So there's a super easy way to do this. Take a regular piece of paper, any old piece of paper, and just fold it in half.
Yes.
On the half, draw a half a heart. Because the hardest part about doing a heart
is getting it even.
Is making it even.
Yep.
So now you would go in, cut out that heart.
This is one of my favorite things. One of the things that has lasted with me throughout all of my years is something I learned in 2nd grade, and there it is.
Honestly. I mean, it's like, it's so simple.
Perfect art.
And then you forget and you try to do it. You're like, I mean,
it never works.
If we could only do that for our eyeliner, that would be amazing.
Exactly.
All right, so now you can see I had my heart that I cut out, and I cut out a photo. Here's Connor and Mike. I love this photo so much, so I thought that this would be a really cute one for Connor, actually, as a gift. So I printed this on the fabric paper.
But there's a lot of different types of fabric. Which type do we use?
There are. Actually, whatever you have, you can use in this project. You don't have to buy anything new. If you have the sew-in kind, then you're going to either fabric glue or sew it onto like a little backing to make our pocket. If you have the iron-on, then you're just going to iron it on.
Okay.
So you can follow no matter what you have. You can see I also cut out another piece in just like a border fabric. So this is just a canvas. It's going to act as a border to my picture and also make my pocket a little bit more sturdy.
Nice.
But it is approximately like 1/4 of an inch bigger.
Okay. Now, does it matter if you're using, no matter what your sort of fabric paper is that you're printing on, would you always do a border?
I would.
Always.
Mainly because I think it looks really nice. That's the main thing, but then just the technique of it changes. Okay. So you can see I've got my picture here. I've peeled it. This is the sew-in kind. So now you could either use a little bit of tacky spray or fabric glue or sew these together like I've done with this one.
Beautiful.
Now it's a little bit stronger.
Okay.
So there's two things here. One option is having your photo that you kind of center wherever you want, and you could leave it plain just like this, and we would attach it. But I want to show you how I did the one for Mike over here with
all the letters,
the writing on it. Yeah. I looked online to find a couple of phrases that I thought were really beautiful, and I loved this one so much. This sort of sentiment is like, walk through life with me, and I'll have like everything I could possibly need.
So
because,
sweet.
you know, easy times, bad times, they come and go. But like when you've got like a solid partner,
that is really
you know,
sweet.
you got what you need. And Mikey is exactly that. So
what do we need to make that pillow then? Besides Mike.
Besides Mike, yeah. He's not available. So I'm just going to use a ruler, and this is really just to create straight lines.
There you go.
Straight lines. Oh,
which disappear.
Yeah, which will disappear, and they're faint to begin with, but they will also disappear. And this is just going to allow me that when I'm writing it, I'm guaranteed to stay straight and not start to like, whoa. You know, when you find yourself writing on a piece of paper, the lines are quite helpful. So here it is. Now I'm going to take a paint pen. You could use a Sharpie if you want, but you're going to have to do a couple of like coats of a Sharpie.
Okay.
Paint pen. You'll just start writing.
And so you're going to freehand this whole thing?
I am going to freehand,
oh
yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So we would say, like,
so what if my handwriting isn't like yours?
So,
and is that of a third grader?
Debbie, most of us are aware of your handwriting. And therefore, for Debbie's pillow, you can see I actually just doubled up the pictures.
Right, and there's my handwriting.
And there's your handwriting.
Right
for you've got your love letter to Alexandra in that pocket. But for yours, I did 2 pictures. Because I think if you go too many pictures, it starts to get a little busy.
Okay.
But 2 pictures kind of takes up that space.
That's very
so
sweet.
What you would do here is you would, once you write everything out, you could go back in and sort of thicken it up so that it's much bolder. When you're writing it, what you can do also is put your photo in the middle so that you know what's going to be blocked.
Okay.
On mine, I went right over it, so some of my words are blocked, which I don't mind, but if you want to avoid that, this is what it'll end up looking like.
And then
so see how there's like a big gap? I made a gap for my photo, that way I can still read everything. So now it just comes time to attach our picture, and you want to think of how it's going to function as a pocket.
Okay.
So you want to leave the top open. So I'm going to be using fabric glue. If your pillowcase is the kind of pillowcase that unzips and the pillow can come out, you can sew this on.
Okay.
If it's the kind that doesn't, you are going to have to fabric glue it on. So I'm just lining it, again, stopping when I get to this top section
that's
here.
the envelope, okay.
Exactly. And now I'm going to turn this to me for just a moment so I can center it.
And there you go.
And there you go.
Voila.
Now just kind of go like push it in so that this is open, And that's it. Just give it a minute to dry.
That's really sweet.
I know. And then you just brush off your chalk.
Gosh, and it's just so thoughtful and sentimental. That's so much better than
really
just some flowers. I love you, Orly.
I agree.
You all make sure to visit HallmarkChannel.com for more info and stick around, because up next, we are making the most delicious roasted chicken with porcini mushroom cream that you will ever eat in your entire life. I really mean that. Come on back, everybody. So good. So good.